be chronicling the deaths, chronicling the new cases, and wondering just how are we going to turn this thing around?
You know, Anne-Marie, it's such a good point. I can only say from experience here in New York City, which was for the early days of the pandemic, the epicenter of the pandemic, where we were in this period where we were seeing the infections rising across the state, and then we started to see the death toll. And it was, I think we talked about this during that moment where here you would constantly hear sirens, ambulance sirens. It never went away. It was sort of almost like an always on. You could always hear it. And it was so heartbreaking. And when you look at these numbers, when you look at the trend over the last just 3 or 4 weeks, when you look at the information that the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, 1 month ago, the Vice President was declaring that there was not a second wave, and yet, Anne-Marie, we never actually left the first wave. And so it is absolutely horrific to see these numbers intensifying nationwide. So that is where we begin with these alarming details of the coronavirus pandemic. These numbers are absolutely astonishing. The United States shattered its daily record of cases with 77,000 infections confirmed yesterday. Actually, Anne-Marie, this morning, I had to do a double take when I saw that number. 77,000 infections confirmed yesterday. This comes as the White House Coronavirus Task Force considers implementing stricter safety restrictions in certain states where cases are spiking, especially in Texas and Florida and South Carolina, where the daily deaths have now hit a record high. So for more on this, let us bring in Weijia Jiang, CBS News White House correspondent, who is following the latest from the White House lawn. Weijia, these recommended restrictions were outlined in an it's significant.
So there, but we haven't heard from officials sharing between states.
Some of the restrictive measures that took place before, but now Congress has been debating. It really only works if you are actually on the